What's up YouTube, it's Everything Automotive here with another video. We talk about everything cars. If you're new here, subscribe. Today we're going all in exposing 6 major maintenance myths that car brands push hard. These claims like super long oil changes or lifetime fluids make new cars sound low maintenance and budget friendly during the sales pitch, but in everyday driving, they often lead to accelerated wear, sludge, corrosion, overheating, premature failures, and repair costs that can go into the thousands. We'll cover each myth in detail, what manufacturers officially claim, specific examples from brands like Toyota, Honda, Ford, GM, BMW, Mercedes, and others, why the claims fall apart in typical use, real owner and mechanic stories pulled from forums, lawsuits, and independent reports, the science or mechanics behind the damage, the clear, practical advice, and what you should do instead to protect your investment. Myth number 1, extended oil change intervals. Car companies market longer oil change intervals as a modern perk thanks to advanced full synthetic oils and sophisticated engines with oil life monitors. They say 7,500 to 10,000 miles, which is about 12,000 kilometers to 16,000 kilometers, or even up to 15,000 miles, which is 24,000 kilometers in some cases, is fine under normal conditions, cutting down on service trips and lowering ownership costs on paper. Toyota leads with 10,000 miles, which is about 16,000 kilometers, and that's for almost all of their cars. Their Tacoma, Highlander, Camry, etc., and they're using very thin oils like 0W20 all the way to 0W8, and that's arguably horrible for the engine. Honda does similar for the Civic, Accord, etc., 7,500 to 10,000 miles, which is about 12,000 to 16,000 kilometers. Ford's is at 10,000 miles, which is the same as Toyota. GM relies on oil monitors, so they're at about 7,500 to 10,000 miles just like Honda. It's obviously way too long. What these manufacturers consider normal is mostly highway cruising, mild temps, long drives that fully warm the engine, no heavy loads, no dust or salt, and minimal idling. Real driving, urban stop and go, short trips under 15 minutes, cold starts in freezing weather, towing trailers on dusty or salted roads, is considered severe to them, but for a lot of people that's everyday driving. Oil picks up fuel dilution. It could be worse than fuel injected in turbo engines. There's a lot of moisture from condensation, combustion acids, soot, and early wear metals. It loses viscosity and turns acidic, and that could corrode the bearings and seals and other internals. And deposits varnish or sludge on pistons, valve train, timing components, oil passages. This increases friction, reduces lubrication, and speeds up the engine wear, leading to higher oil consumption, misfires, power loss, worse fuel economy, and eventual major damage like bearing failure or chain stretch. Independent labs like Blackstone analyze thousands of samples and consistently show breakdown as early as 5,000 miles, which is about 8,000 kilometers. Toyota owners following 10,000 mile, which is 16,000 kilometer intervals, reported sludge in their 2.5 and 3.5 liter engines with varnish buildup and teardowns. The Ford EcoBoost turbos often suffer from oil dilution and carbon fouling if stretched too far, triggering misfires, turbo issues, and a lot more. Honda's 1.5 liter turbo in the CR-V sees some fuel contamination in commuter driving, causing rough running. GM trucks, towing or idling heavy, experience cam and lifter wear when trusting the monitor fully. Mechanics note these intervals help manufacturers minimize warranty claims, but then right when the warranty's done, a lot of issues happen. Stories are coming out about vehicles at 80,000 to 120,000 miles, which is about 128,000 to just under 200,000 kilometers, with perfect records, and then suddenly they're burning oil or they need a full engine rebuild. And it's all linked to degraded oil quality. The consequences of these long oil change intervals are engine repairs or replacements, and that's usually about $4,000 to $15,000 plus. There's also downtime and lower resale values after that stuff happens. Proactive shorter changes lead to engines reaching 200,000 plus miles, which is 320,000 plus kilometers, a lot easier. So basically, the way you avoid this issue is do your oil changes more often. I would say if you're a regular driver, you abuse the car sometimes, change your oil every 5,000 miles, which is about 8,000 kilometers. But if you do abuse the car or you do have a very high revving or turbo car, you should do them more often. Myth number 2, lifetime transmission fluid. Brands seal many automatics and call the fluid lifetime or maintenance free, appealing to buyers who want zero hassle. Toyota uses it widely in their Camrys, RAV4, Corollas, and more, with traditional autos or CVTs. Ford applies it to their F-150s, Explorers, and more, and all of their 10-speed units. GM claims it for their Silverados and Tahoes, and Mercedes, BMW, and Audi claim it for their ZF units, even though ZF says that you should change the fluid. In reality, when they're talking about a lifetime fluid, they're only talking about the warranty period, not the car's full life. And the fluid faces intense heat, shear, clutch wear debris, oxidation, it darkens, loses additives, and fills with metal particles causing slips, hard shifts, solenoid problems, overheating, and failure. And this happens almost every time outside of the warranty period. And if you don't believe me that these companies will lie to your face, take ZF as a prime example. Lots of different car manufacturers such as BMW, Audi, Volkswagen, Mopar, Jaguar all use ZF transmissions, and a lot of them say that it's a lifetime fluid, no service interval transmission, even though ZF themselves has service intervals and basically tells you don't listen to the manufacturer, listen to them. So overall, if you buy a new car from the dealership and you want to keep it for a long time, or you want to help the second owner, do your transmission fluid changes. Most mechanics recommend it every 50,000 miles, which is about 80,000 kilometers, and the more you do it, the better. This will save you a lot because in the long term, you might end up spending a lot of money swapping or rebuilding the transmission. Number 3, lifetime or super long coolant intervals. If a manufacturer tells you you have lifetime coolant, trust me, that's not true. Just change it. GM's Dex-Cool, which is an orange coolant from the 1990s to the 2000s, faced huge backlash class action lawsuits over intake gasket degradation, sludge formation, radiator and heater core clogs, overheating, and engine damage. Settlements covered repairs for affected vehicles. Ford and Chrysler saw similar extended coolant complaints with corrosion and pump failures. If you have a car with high kilometers, it's best just flush the coolant. Modern versions still break down, losing inhibitors, acidifying, gelling, or clogging. Harsh climates or abuse to the car can cause issues with failures at 80,000 to 120,000 miles, and even a lot of the time it's a lot sooner, and that's 128,000 to 192,000 kilometers. This can lead to corrosion inside your engine, lots of coolant leaks. It's just stuff you don't want to deal with. And if you don't know too much about cars and your coolant leaks out, that can lead to your engine seizing and full engine replacement. So basically, flush the coolant every 4 to 5 years or every 50,000 to 60,000 miles, which is about 80,000 to 100,000 kilometers with compatible coolant, so you can dodge all these issues that are headed your way. Myth number 4, lifetime differential and transfer case fluid. Any car with a transfer case and a rear differential or front differential that doesn't use transmission fluid definitely needs the fluid changed. A lot of cars like Subarus, Jeeps, Ford trucks, and GM often claim lifetime in diffs and transfer cases, but the fluid degrades with heat, moisture, the metal shavings appear in the fluid, leading to noise, bearing failures, and it could lead to rebuilds, or it could lead to you replacing the whole diff, and that's definitely not cheap. And especially if you tow or you off-road, you're going to damage your diff more, and it definitely needs to be serviced. You should change it every 30,000 miles, which is about 48,000 kilometers, to avoid big repairs. Some diffs are only $1,000, but on certain cars it can go all the way up to $30,000 on more exotic models. So overall, just change it. Don't listen to this lifetime stuff, but change it as often as you can, depending on your driving. Myth number 5, overly optimistic brake fluid intervals. Some manuals suggest brake fluid needs no regular service unless a problem shows. But brake fluid absorbs moisture, dropping the boiling point and corroding lines, calipers, master cylinder, and ABS modules, especially in humid and salty areas. Experts recommend you change it every 2 to 3 years and every 30,000 miles, which is about 48,000 kilometers. Ignoring it, you're risking spongy brakes, leaks, ABS problems, and your life. Your brakes are the only thing that are going to save you when someone cuts you off, so it's best you just change it. If it's been 3 years and you haven't driven that much, just change it. If you've hit at 30,000 miles and you know it hasn't been changed, just change it. It's honestly just not worth your life. Myth number 6. Having your spark plugs for 100,000 miles, which is about 160,000 kilometers, or even longer. So a lot of new manufacturers use iridium plugs in their turbo and direct injection setups, like the Ford EcoBoost line, Hyundai and Kia with turbos, and they're rating them at 100,000 plus miles. And see, I've heard about cars getting a lot of miles, even more than that, out of spark plugs, but it's not worth it, because the carbon from the PCV and the fuel dilution fouls them early, and that'll cause misfires, rough idle, mile per gallon loss, or even catalytic converter damage. And that is extremely expensive to fix. So honestly, every 40,000 miles, which is about 64,000 kilometers, just change them. You're going to get the best miles per gallon, you're never going to deal with a catalytic problem, and overall, you're going to save a lot more money in the long term. These 6 myths reveal a pattern. Manufacturers optimize for sales appeal, low advertised costs, and warranty stats, while real-world driving variables expose the risks. Adjust your intervals to your driving. Use quality fluid and parts, and stay ahead. Your car will reward you with reliability and longevity. Thanks for watching this new video. If this opened your eyes, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, and comment your biggest maintenance myth or horror story below. And if you know anyone shopping for a car right now, share this video with them. Catch you in the next one.